welcome to another Lunch and Learn mini workshop provided by the Kentucky Agriculture and Environment in the Classroom. My name's Jennifer Elwell. I'm the Executive Director, and today we're going to focus on the Kentucky Farms Feed Me virtual field trip program. This program was originally created and released in 2011. And it was the Kentucky corn growers that produced the original set of videos and then the original companion activities. I was an employee of the Kentucky corn growers, and we surveyed all the teachers that came to the Kentucky Farm Bureau teacher workshops. And we asked, what can the agriculture community do to help our teachers? And we heard that taking field trips was becoming harder and harder to do because of liability and the cost. Allergies are another reason. So we felt that we could provide some virtual field trips to help connect the students to the farm. And Kentucky Farms Feed Me was born. Now, I moved to this role with the Kentucky Ag and Environment in the Classroom in 2014, and the Kentucky corn growers graciously allowed me to bring this program into the curriculum offerings for this program. And with the help of our entire farm community, we have been able to reproduce all of the videos. So we have a new set. We were able to add some more virtual field trips to relate to horses. We were able to split all the grain videos out so they could, so we could focus on those individually. And now we have another great set of field trips that you all can use for your classroom. I do want to send a special thank you to Kentucky Farm Bureau. They had a great video team that helped us reproduce the videos. Now they're all consistent in length. But please know, if you want to check out the original videos, you will be able to find those as well, because they have some really good companion activities. I'm going to share my screen so you will know how to find them. So we're going to go to teachkyag.org, which is our website. And then I'm going to go to the top menu and hit Programs and Lessons and then Curriculum. And the Kentucky Farms Feed Me program is at the very top, and we're going to hit View Field Trips. Now, this will be the website hub for everything that you will be able to find related to Kentucky Farms Feed Me. There's about the program that we went through, thanks to our sponsors. And then here is where you're going to find teaching suggestions for every grade level. While this program can easily be used K through 12, we have actually had a lot of high schools use this in agriculture classes and family consumer science classes. And, you know, it's a fun activity, especially if you have a substitute coming. There are some fun things to do. It really aligns well with primary social studies and career studies standards. And I feel you could easily use the program in its entirety in those grades. You can see that we do have kind of lesson plans and a guide for all of the elementary grades. We have writing prompts. We do have a grid for the different companion activities. Let's just choose kindergarten to get us started. And you will see that there's a start here and some suggestions on how to use this. October is Farm to School month. If you just want to focus on one time of the year to use this, October is great. March is where we find National Agriculture Month and also Nutrition Month. Or my suggestion, especially K through 3, is that you could use the program all year long. Pick one video per month, have a Farm Friday, or work within the team members in your school and decide what videos that you want to focus on for each grade level. A lot of times my STEM lab teachers will use this program for the different companion activities, and they'll pick 1 or 2 videos per grade level. You will see that we have a start here. So to really connect this to the social studies standards, we have a presentation that you can click on. It does go to a Google slide presentation. It does force you to make a copy. The slides you're able to manipulate those, but you do need to have a copy on your drive to be able to do that. And also, to be able to manipulate them, keep in mind that you should not put it in slideshow view. So really, when we are focusing on how a community meets our needs, we do need to connect it to the climate, the land, and the natural resources, especially when it comes to food productions, because those really dictate what foods are grown in a different area around the world. So that, and you can see down here at the bottom what standards that connects to. So we've got some geography standards there. But your students also need to know the difference between a need and a want, and that also connects to some social studies and career studies standards. So this is where you're going to be able to manipulate the slide. So working with your students, you can move these around the slide and go into the appropriate category, and you can have some really good conversations with your students here. Now, as you move up, progressing grade levels, we do have another version of this, which I'll show you in a minute, which actually talks about quality of life. And you can talk about the things you have to survive versus things that just make life, allows us to have a better quality of life, such as access to medicine and schooling and things like that. Then we move on to talk about where we purchase our needs, goods and services, direct from the farmer. Of course, we rely on our families. We go to stores, and it talks about the concept of needing money and jobs to be able to do that. Or you could trade for goods and services. So this is where we are trying to connect in all those concepts that are found in the social studies standards. It talks about the role of the farmer. Again, they need to know and have the knowledge about our natural resources to grow our food. And it provides additional information on those subjects. Kentucky has a strong energy component. We are also very wooded, providing us wood resources. And then it gets into the connection between farmland and our food. And here, this slide touches on the geography and how different areas of the state, different regions produce different crops or focused on different crops and animals. And all of these things, we have many companion activities to help teach these. And then I always like to include this little activity, how is our food made? It's a version of our linking farm to table activity, and you can move these pictures into the correct boxes. Another fun thing that you all can do together. And before you close, you just undo and it sets it back, or make sure you tell it not to save and it will reset it. Then it talks about places. So we're going back to this guide. It talks about places that you can go to watch the field trips, and then how to meet the different standards by using this program. There's some reading connections, and then you have companion activities suggested for each field trip. Now, if we go back to this web page, you can also find those if you scroll down to the actual field trip links. So if we click on visit a soybean farm, it's going to provide the main ideas, some background information, and then over to the right, it's going to show you those companion activities that you can click on and see the digital version of those. And when you do that, you're going to see a lot of fun resources that come along with these companion activities. This is a huge favorite, the Let's Sprout a Soybean. And you will receive all the necessary materials to be able to do this in the classroom. This is what the students' little soybean greenhouse is going to look like after several days to a week. And we also have this great little video with lessons, slide presentations that meet all of the standards. So not only are we meeting the social studies and career studies standards, these companion activities may focus on a science concept, and they are tied to the national or the next generation science standards. But this cute little video does a time lapse. So thankful for Kentucky Department of Agriculture for producing this for us. This way your students will see a glimpse of what to expect in the days to come. The materials for that are free of charge, and you can request those on this page. You will also see, either from our webpage or the Google Drive, that you can find a grid of all the companion activities, and they are all linked up as well. So this can help you decide on what companion activities that you want to choose. Another favorite is this Make a Shapely Show Pig activity. And it has materials that you can request. We have pre-printed colored shapes that you can request. The students cut those out. Of course, there is a lesson, a math lesson for our kindergartners on shapes. They have to be able to identify the different shapes, count the sides and vertices, and then they are given a template to follow to construct their pig. And of course, they're going to be they have to draw some additional shapes to create this pig. But we have seen this activity being used all the way into high school because it's a fun, creative activity. When they watch the virtual field trip, they're going to see a young Kentuckian show his pig at the Kentucky State Fair. So they're going to see that connection. And some of my teachers love having the students create pigs, and then they get to judge them, have their own little pig show. But you'll see that there's an activity sheet that you can click on. It goes to a PDF. It's pulling up now. So this is how we're meeting those math standards for the younger grades. But we see a lot of classrooms, especially kindergarten classrooms, using this activity just for the cutting skills. So many different ways that this can be used. I did want to show you, now that you kind of understand how to navigate, how to pick the videos, where to start, the companion activities for each, that we have a student passport that you can also request. We recently updated our coloring book passport. And this will be available in the next week or so. So we added a few pages, we added some activities to further meet the different standards. Each student can have their own passport, and it helps kind of track all the different video field trips that you have watched. There's a place that they can trace the word on the page. We have some reading that you all can do together or on their own, depending on their reading level. There's a page dedicated for each of the field trips. We tried to add in some other little helpful things based on the standard. So like soybean is a compound word with 2 syllables. In the center of the book, we have the strong geography connection. So those primary grades are learning about different regions of Kentucky and how they may differ in what they are providing. We have a coloring activity where they have to match the shape to a color and create the legend. They get to choose what colors each of these are, or you can do that together and decide together as a class what color each region will be. And then we have included the pictures of what is popular in each of those regions. So you will see that most of our chickens and pigs and grains are going to be found in central and western Kentucky. Beef cattle can be found in most of Kentucky. You typically don't see a lot of beef cattle in the Jackson Purchase region, but more farms in Kentucky have beef cattle. In eastern Kentucky, you do not see as much grain production, and that's just because of the land, the physical characteristics of the land. You have hills and mountains. The soil may not be as productive, so it's just harder to have those larger grain farms, but you will find that there's a lot of vegetable production in the eastern counties. Some of our larger orchards are in eastern Kentucky. Continue on, again, some little activities, and then we have at the end, the last page here is another version of that linking farm to table. This would be a good assessment where they match up the animal or produce to what they help produce. And of course, we want to advertise Kentucky Proud and encourage our students to visit those Kentucky farmers markets so they can buy direct from farmers. But also visiting the grocery store is okay as well, because many of our farmers are supplying those markets. Now, you can request the passports at this link right here. Now that will be for just a limited time as we are moving more to a membership system. You will need to have attended an in-person workshop to have access to those, but you can request them now for the time being. If you want to further learn about agriculture in your county, we have a section of this where you can view your county and data farm profiles. There's a worksheet to go along with this. We're going to click on this link. We have all the counties linked up. Let's click on Bourbon County. I know they do a fabulous job with ag literacy. You can see the data here, the number of farms, what percentage are family farms, how the farmland is used, where the county ranks out of 120 counties in terms of the value of the ag products that are sold. So Bourbon ranks 7th. And if we look at what they're producing, it's really because of the horses and the horse services that help rank them highest, and also the cattle and calves. And they sell a lot of grains and hay and tobacco. And then we have some farm profiles that the students can read about different farms in their community. This is where if you need an English language arts writing activity, we are always looking to add more farm profiles to our web pages. So we'd love for you to send those our way with a photo. And it just has to be a short description. Speaking of data, that is what we showcased at the Kentucky Farm Bureau workshops this year, were data lessons. So I'm going to scroll back to where we were. And you can view that lesson here. We have different versions of the data. Depending on your grade level, we have some comprehension worksheets that they can fill out on their county. Meets a lot of social studies standards, math and ELA, vocabulary, and then you can see the different data sheets and worksheets there. Another fun companion activity as a kind of end of the year activity, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, is this Create a Kentucky Farm. The students are given a template where they can create their farm on 100 acres and they get to decide what they would include. We tried to make it easy on them by creating these stamps that they can cut and color and add onto their farms. We did group animals together so we can show carrying capacity in an ecosystem. You know, you need at least 2 acres per cow, you know, especially if you have beef cattle, we need 2 acres per horse. So we forced that a little bit. And then we have a lot of that information available for the teacher to help them. There's a lot of math extensions for all the elementary grades here that you can use. So that's a fun addition to this. So you can see there are a number of ways that you can use the Kentucky Farms Feed Me virtual field trip program. Each has a science connection, social studies connections, if you use the program as a whole, math and English and language arts, and of course there's creative components in there as well. If you ever have any questions about how to utilize this program, please do not hesitate to contact our office. You can email me, Jennifer, at teachkyag.org. We also have Julie Hobbs and Rachel Wilson on our team. Julie would be a great one to reach out to for the primary and elementary grades, as she has taught elementary and was a library media specialist. Her email is julie@teachkyag.org. And of course, Rachel teaches agriculture, and she even uses this program in her class. And she can be contacted at rachel@teachkyag.org. Now, as a bonus, if you stuck with us this far, we do have a few more of these kits available for anyone that gets through this program. You can request one of these starter kits for our Kentucky Farms Feed Me. There's a teacher guide, a printed one in here, and also supplies for each of these activities. So you have enough supplies for making the soybean germination necklaces. You get the pig pages that they can cut out and make pigs. And you can also go on and request how many of the passports that you would like to have for your classroom. So don't delay in doing that. Just send myself or Julie an email saying you would like to request those, and then we will take it from there. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for helping us grow agriculture literacy in Kentucky. And until the next time, thanks.